watched Dracula Untold twice, and the second time through, I had forgotten about a vampire army our lead character creates, which shows how forgettable this movie is. Which is a shame, because I think it could have been better. That's not to say I was ever clamoring for a Dracula origin movie. I like bad guys who are a little complex, but sometimes I just want someone who is pure evil, no humanity, to explain why they do what they do. And Dracula is one of those villains. I don't have an explanation for why I eat. I do it because I'm hungry. I can believe that's why Dracula does it too. And the cat and mouse thing he does with his prey, well, if I was that old, I would probably want to make it interesting too. My ideal Dracula movie would be the plot of the novel in the present day, like the BBC Sherlock series. Dracula killing babes and guys getting revenge. But if an executive gave me this script and asked for my thoughts, here's what I would change. If your goal is to show that the ultimate baddie of all time, right behind Satan, was a devoted father and husband and a caring ruler of his people, then the point of the movie is that nobody's pure evil, and maybe they have good reasons for making the choices that led to them being seen as evil. If that's what you're trying to sell us, why are the Turks so cartoonishly evil? I do like them feisty. Yeah. Hello, we're here for your children. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to give me your children? How about you give me more of your children? Yeah. We wish you resisted giving us your children so we could kill you. Yeah. Because we're evil. Yeah. Conflict is at the heart of almost every story, so if you're trying to give us a sympathetic Dracula, it would be difficult to also give us sympathetic villains because we would have to spend more time on their motivations. So do that. This movie is only an hour and a half long, so mark your calendars, folks, because it's not often I say this, but make this movie longer. It took about 30 seconds of research, literally the second paragraph on Wikipedia, to find out the Ottomans and the people of Wallachia shared an enemy in some guy from Hungary. Maybe the Turks, well, Google says they're not the same as the Ottomans. Maybe they're not evil, but desperate. We don't have thousands of troops to stand against John from Hungary, so we need to force the Wallachians to fight with us. A bunch of sticks together, that sort of thing. The Wallachians just want to be left alone, but the Turks don't see that as an option. If we don't conscript your children to join our army, we'll be destroyed, and soon, so will you guys. Vlad lost his father and brother thanks to John. John died of the plague when Vlad was just 16, so he can't even have his revenge. But my father and brother would still be alive if it wasn't for the Ottomans. You still have conflict propelling the story, and everyone has real motivations. I'm spending a lot of time on Vlad's formative years because that's what the movie should have done too. It's like 3 minutes into the movie when Vlad first meets the unnamed vampire played by Charles Dance. It turns out a battalion of Turkish troops died at Tywin's hands, but Snidely Whiplash thinks Vlad and his people are responsible, so he wants 1,000 of their boys to fight for him. I guess that makes sense, but wait a minute. Charles Dance says he's trapped in the cave. Are you telling me anywhere from 300 to 1,000 men all went in this cave and got killed by the vampire? And how does the vampire know the rules for vampirism so specifically? Why does it feel like the rule book was written by the same guy who made the rules for the Mogwai? You can get vampire powers for 3 days, and if you're not satisfied, you get your money back. But if you drink blood, this vampire gets to leave this cave, and he will haunt you for the next 500 years for some reason. I'm not opposed to doing a prequel if it's done well, but don't try to tell me this isn't going in the direction I know it's going. I would much rather go in knowing what's going to happen, that Vlad is going to become Dracula, but seeing why it happens. Why does he make the choices he makes that transforms him into the monster we know? The movie does do that, just not very well. I would focus on a younger, frustrated Vlad who wants to channel his anger somewhere but feels outmatched by the Ottomans who have jurisdiction over his people. For the first 2/3 of the story, I would want it to be more of a historical drama than a monster action movie. Show the tribulations Vlad goes through, and when things can't get any worse, the monkey's paw offers him a way to seek retribution. He tears a bloody swath through the Ottomans. The movie has him choose to become a vampire near the end of Act 1. Then it milks the drama of will he defeat the Turks and go back to his family? Who can say in this movie about a very well-known vampire? Put him becoming a vampire at the end of the second act and spend more time showing what he's fighting for. The movie tried to do that, but it rushes through the first act at hyper speed to get to some very underwhelming vampire action. I don't want to see a bunch of kids drafted into an army, but I barely got a chance to know these characters. Rickon is just kid. Wife only becomes interesting in her final seconds of life. Spend some time on your characters so I care when Vlad loses them. I guess I would want this to be a lot like how I would want a biopic about Magneto to go. Start at the beginning and show why he does what he does. Do that with Dracula. Don't defang him by saying he's a swell guy. Show his ferocity. He has a family. Some are killed, some still live. Then he unintentionally distances himself from them until it's too late for him to turn back. And don't skip all the interesting stuff. I cannot think think of another movie where the focus should have been shifted as badly as this one. That's about it for this one. Just tell a story that you're hinting at in the movie we got, and I think it would be better than this one. I hope you guys like this one, and I'll see you in the future with something else. Until next time, have a good one.